women face with regards to development, and see what more we can do together as women to promote development advocacy. So I would like to call on Regina to give us an introduction comment. Then we would hand it over to Yate Chiwa to also give us an introductory comment. Then we take it from there. So Regina, please speak to us.
Okay. Thank you very much, Adita. And a good evening to all our listeners and those who tuned in. I think the topic on discussion, the development advocacy, is one that is part and parcel of our everyday politics as we navigate the frontiers of the state. It's imperative to know that women play a very significant role in development in whatever sphere it is, from human capital development through to economic development. Why do I say human capital? Even if you have the next generation are in their hands, they are developing that. That in itself is development. They cater for the home. That is a minimal form of economic development. Through to religious, political, and any way you can think about. So women have always played a significant role. So the discussion is not starting now. Right now, what we are doing is we are looking at it more at a larger scale. But in the at the minutest scale, we know that we've been doing this for ages, for mothers, sisters, even queer mothers, and also our discussions will more or less be like now on the larger scale, on the national scale, in the international stage. How are women putting those resources, putting those strengths together to push their various states and to push the economies and all the companies in which they are in and how they are backing it. So I think the discussion will promises to be interesting, but then we should have it in mind that this is something that's already ongoing. This is something that has been with us from ages. It's not starting now. It's always been there. But rather we are looking at escalating it to a more global level and more formalized level where people can, at a glance, understand what the contribution of women have been throughout the ages. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Regina. Okay, Tishiwa, can you give us your introductory comment?
Yeah, so my name is Yate Chiwa, and then for me, when we say development advocacy, I was trying to think about what development is in general, and I think for Africa, where we come from, we have not gotten there, and we've not gotten to the state that we can say we've gotten to a process that will create growth in our that can create growth in a positive way, be it physical growth, economic growth, social growth, and all that. For me, as a woman, I think it starts with developing ourselves, self-awareness, and trying to get to know who we are, and trying to get to know our strengths, our identity, our talents, our weaknesses, and our strengths. So we need to get to know ourselves, and if as individuals, if we get to know ourselves, then we can change positively our immediate environment, that is our families, and then it goes on to country, and goes to continent, and goes globally as a whole. So for me, I think it's we have to know what development is for us, and then how we can develop ourselves, and then try to push this development when it comes to all the aspects, physical, social, economic aspects of our lives. So that would be my introductory comment.
You mute.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Anata, it seems your mic is off.
Sorry, I think I muted. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So what I was saying is, I think what I want us to do is let's tackle this conversation from the perspective of what is development, how it relates in the woman's world. So what I would want us is to let's take it to, let's have economic, the political, and maybe social of it. So if in each of you could just tackle what the economic development challenge has been in the life of women, or in the sense of women, and what you think can be done more about it. So let's take economic first. So would have Regina. I think we first started with Regina, right? So yeah. So let's have Regina look at economic development in the lives of women. So Regina touch on that, and we have touch on that. Then we can look at another section. So Regina, please, over to you.
Thank you very much, Adita. I think the bedrock of any economy, especially in Africa, is tied to land. Um, Luckily, because most of the people, or most of the population in Africa are actually involved in agriculture. But let's take a typical example like Ghana. In Ghana, women have access to land. Even if they don't, they have concessions being made, which is perfect. So I wouldn't use Ghana as an example of women who do not have access to land. I'll use other countries, mostly the East African and the South African countries. If you look at them, most of these countries do not allow women to own and access land. So that in itself take away most of the economic power, because when you own land, it's a means of production. That is the beginning of owning the whole line of production. But what we now have is women are the ones doing the harvesting or selling the product at the end of the day. So the profit they might be making or looking to make will not be as significant as actually owning the land and starting the means of production through to the end. That aside, I think in Ghana too, we've not necessarily had the issue of unequal pay in the formal sector. But then you realize that some of these conversations are coming up. Luckily, we have more progressive laws economically. So in terms of economic development, my argument would be largely to have more women enrolled into either the formal sector or the informal sector. Why do I say this? Despite the fact that we do not have any clear-cut rules, any clear-cut laws banning women from working or doing what they have to do. In fact, we have very progressive laws. However, it is the cultural practices of the day that are inhibiting a lot of women in advancing into some circles. I had an engagement with Frederick Eckstein at conference, that FES conference, and then you realize that we had more women coming out talking about the economic implications of their actions or inaction, in that the family system, the culture system prevents women from venturing into some areas. Like you have male partners who can easily go to Nigeria, Togo, China to go and bring in goods. But these women will need the consent of families, consent of husbands, have someone to take care of kids in order to do that. So then the question is, how do we bridge that gap? The law has already done that. The law has been clear cut. You cannot discriminate women. To deal with the economics of development advocacy, it has to come to the sociocultural practices. So we cannot really take out the economic livelihood of women away or discuss it as a standalone point. For women, it's linked to the sociocultural practices. Where the sociocultural practices are progressive enough, you see that the women are equally very progressive. And one thing you can say in our sense is the Ghanaian community. At least it's a bit progressive as against others. A typical example would be in Nigeria, where when you marry and you have to take your husband's name. You cannot come and you cannot come and maybe stand for a particular position, or so you are prevented from doing something by virtue of your name. And all these things have implications one way or the other in the economic livelihood of women. But then the simple understanding at least will be, what can we do different? What we can do different is to tackle the sociocultural practices. For Africa, we are gradually getting there. we are making advances. I think last week, Zambia has made it possible for women to now access land. Most West African countries, women are able to access land. East Africa and Southern Africa is gradually getting there. So yes, let's support them. But then we know that the economics of the economic livelihood of women is definitely linked to the social cultural practices. The moment we discuss them as a whole, as a unit, then we know where to make the amends, and we know how to progress from there. So yes, even though it's possible to be discussed as a standalone, I feel it is interrelated, because the moment we have progressive stance, progressive practices, it will have a positive impact on the economic livelihood of women in Africa.
Yes. So
Okay, Georgiana, thank you. So yeah, can you also touch on economic development
yeah,
in the
so
world of a woman?
yes. So as Regina said, I would also like to link the economic growth or the economic freedom to the social growth. As Africans, I think like for women, the path to self-sufficiency is very difficult because everything is linked to the society. Can we make decisions on our own? Do we have the freedom to do whatever that we want to do? For me, I think no. Everything is linked to the social system. And even for Africans abroad, we still face the same problem because of where we come from, because of our social background. When we even come abroad, we are not too confident to even go for the things that we want to get. So for me, I think as women, I'm always very particular on the individual growth. And then like back home in Ghana, if people are given the opportunity as women, we are always sidelined. A woman has to do this. And then you don't want your family to tell you, you don't want your family to disown you because you didn't do what they wanted you to do. So we are always, we try to please the society. So our path to freedom, to own our own companies, to start something with the land and everything. I don't think most women have land. We are just giving some money to start some small business, and then when you start the business, you have to account to your husband, you have to account to somebody. So we don't have the economic freedom based on our social system. And then even if the social system works, the economic growth is also linked to the environmental growth. Are women given the same platform? Like Regina said, do we have equal pay? Can we do the sciences? Can we do the social sciences? Are we given the opportunity to even study what we want to study? Are we pushed to get to the top? When you look at the Ghana political, the politics now, it's funny when you see that we want to push women, but we are supporting women because they join a particular party, but not because they are women, you know. So I think if we can have the social freedom as women to develop as individuals to go for whatever that we want to go for, and then not link everything to family, society will say this, and then these religious issues and everything. If you are given the freedom, you will have the chance to grow, to go to school. Even if you want to learn a trade, you will have the freedom. If we can separate the two, I think we can develop economically and then be self-sufficient. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, I think yeah was actually trying to move us to the next line of discussion, which is political. So let's do the political before we look at social. So now since you started with the political, let's talk about the political development in the life of women, political development in the woman's world. So touch on it, then we can have Regina touch on that too.
Yes. So for politics, what can I say? Like for Ghana, for instance, I try to follow the politics, and when you check the number of parliamentary candidates who are contesting for the upcoming elections this December, I think there are quite few. They are just pushed because they want to do something. I think women are they want to get into the political scene, but I think the most qualified women are scared because you've been insulted. They will ask you things like, if you don't have a child, how can you rule a country? If you are not married, how can you do this? So everything is linked. As a woman, a man can just go into politics without people going deep down to check their background, what they've done and everything. There are very qualified women who can go into politics, but I think the way that we see women, and then when you come out as a woman and you want to speak your mind, you want to tell people how you feel, they see you to be, you are not brought up well. How can you say your mind? How can you express yourself? How can you tell people how you feel? When a woman comes out and speak on a political platform, it means that you were not brought up well. Your parents did not teach you how to speak in public and everything. So I think most qualified women don't want to go into politics because of the insults. People go and check your background. Are you married? Do you have children? They never talk about their educational background or whether they can do the work. They just tag you based on, because you're a woman. People will just tag you because people will not tag you and say, can she do the work? Is she qualified? No. We tackle things, is she married? Does she have children? And all that. And women don't want to go into this because you don't want people to bring your business, your private matters out. So I think for politics, especially in Ghana, it's very tough for women. Yeah.
So what do you think we can do to change the status quo? What do you think we can do to empower the women?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
to empower the woman such that you know that you want to go in for this position, or you want to go into politics because you think you can do it. You want to go into politics because you think you have the know-how, you have what it takes to change politics in the country. And and also let them know that you can go in without being scared of whatever the outcome may be. What do you think will be the right approach to take?
Yes, so for me, I think that it should start from growing up. Women should be empowered, like even when we are kids, when in school, primary schools and everything. We shouldn't be tagged as, for a woman, you have to go to school, get to this point, just marry and have children. We should be told that as woman, you can be a president, you can be an MP, you can be a minister, you can do everything that you want to do. We are not just created to just marry and have children or just marry, be in the kitchen and everything. So I think the empowerment should start from our basic schools, and then our immediate families, from our mothers, our grandmothers, and cousins, sisters. Everybody we shouldn't be told from childhood that for a woman, this is your place. For a woman, kitchen is your place. For a woman, when you go to school and you get to this stage, you have to stop. I was told, when I finished my first degree, I was told, hey, so when we're ready, now. That was what I was told, and I was so brokenhearted that, and then even for me, it didn't come from immediate family or something. It was coming from outside. So this is the perception. This is the thing that we hear when we are growing. So if the society can let us, like, we shouldn't be forced to do so many things. We shouldn't be forced to go into this. And then it's okay for us to also express our weaknesses. If we know we cannot do some things, we should seek help. We should ask questions. We shouldn't also want to be there. Like, we have to do everything at all costs. No, we should know our strengths. We should know our weaknesses. And for me, basically, the way we are brought up, the social setting, how everything is set up, everything from school, from our families, even when we go to church or we go to the mosque, everywhere, there should be this awareness to let women know you can do it, you don't have to. You're not supposed to just marry and have children or be in the kitchen, or this type of work is not for women. We should be empowered as children, as we are growing up, basically, from the basics, from school, from primary school through secondary school through uni. I think we should let there should be that awareness. We shouldn't be forced to do what we don't want to do. So it should start from the basic educational setting. Yes.
Hi, Regina. So yeah, I think you
Yes.
also give us your brief what you think about the political development of women and what the issues are and the challenges and what you think can be done about it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Adita. I think to understand the implications of the lack of women in our political space, the first thing that we have to turn our mind to is visualization. How many movies, Ghanaian or even Nigerian, let's say in Nollywood movies, portray female presidents? How many of them portray powerful females? You understand? In movies, do you see the women being the economic gurus, solving the issues, or women being superheroes? See, the portrayal and the visualization is very important in order to change perceptions. That would, at the end of the day, open doors for women in whatever sector we wish to have women in. We cannot get there without effort, without some kind of effort from all industry players. The reason why I started with the need for visualization is this. When America wanted to have a black president sometime in the future, they started visual in their movies. You see a black president or you see a female president, they are implanted that in the minds of the people that this is possible. They now in their movies, you see them talking about consciousness and having your consciousness stored at a place so that at the end of the day it can be downloaded and stuff like that. That is how, and then living on space, living on another planet, all these things, they are informing the populace of the possibility, the endless possibilities. So until we get to the point where even our industry players, especially entertainment, music, portray women in a certain light, it will be easy. It will not be that easy for people to grasp that a woman can fit into a particular position. In a music scene, in a movie scene, what do we see? How are women portrayed? So, and in the churches, how are women portrayed? In the mosques, how are women portrayed? If in a church, you cannot have a woman be, let's say, a reverend father, and you come and put this woman as president, these same people, how are they going to phantom the idea that even if in our church, you cannot lead us, how can you be a president to lead the whole nation? So you realize that, as I said, the sociocultural practices, religious practices, all permeate everything that blocks the chances of women. Let's talk about our politics. Number one, the visualization is not there. The imagination is not there. However, significant strides were made in the past. For instance, in Nkrumah's first government, he made the effort. He made the purposeful effort to be able to have women in government. And such women became inspirational, even those that were not educated. And then the Makula women and co, he roped them in so that people could see that you could learn from this. These are role models. So in order to have more women in politics, you first have to implant the idea in the minds of people that this is possible. This is a possibility. The children will see that this can be done, and then they can live up to it. They can rise up to the challenge. In our political scene, you're having fewer and fewer women, as Yara rightly said, because of the politics of insult. If you do not have a tough skin, you cannot do politics in Ghana. If you do not have the strength to be able to withstand on your own 2 feet, make your point, argue your way through, it is not possible for you to be able to do it in Ghana. But then, right now, we are saying it's possible. You just need to make a deliberate effort. You need an opening. You understand? The women are there. They are competent. The women are there. As you said, they are intelligent. They can do it. But then there's a blockade there. The ceiling is still there. It's firmly in place. When that ceiling is broken, all these competent women begin to rise up. Let's take a typical example of the nomination of the female vice president. Nominee. That's Madam Nana Jane. Even though she was not the first, we've had women like that in the past. But this is the first on the major political party ticket. It resonated with more women, it resonated with people to have this on a number of platforms to be discussed. Now that discussion, that feminine discussion, as you can rightly see, has now permeated all the manifestos of the two major political parties. And that everybody is looking at pro-women choices, pro-feminine choices. That is what happens when women are roped in. If women are not roped in, these issues, economic issues, social issues, might not be tackled because you do not have that female voice in the room. Having that female voice in the boardroom, in that cabinet room, in that parliament, allows for the discussion of pro-women choices. But then we ask ourselves, okay, we know that it's important for women to be here. We know the significant role they play. Why then are we blocking the chance? And somebody say, nobody's blocking their chances. They can come in, they can also pick forms like their other contemporaries. Let's do a little statistics. The EC has just come out that for anybody to be to file for president, to be on a ticket of any party or independent in the upcoming election, you're supposed to pay 100,000 Ghana cedi as filing fees. Let's be honest, how many women can afford that now from their own pocket without the necessary political support? How many women can? We are talking about even the empty slot, which is then just 10,000. But the monetization of our politics, how many women have significantly been able to save to be able to do that? You see, so again, you do not break that glass ceiling by just sitting aloof and saying people should just come out to play. You know, it's as if two people have been running a race. One person has started the race like 10 minutes ago, and the other person is now starting. And you're telling them that it's a fair race. Anybody can win it. It's not possible. We know that there has been a lot of blockades in the path of women, be it education, be it socioeconomic, be it political. So now, in order to have more women, you need to open up the system for them. When we say open up the system, what affirmative action policies are we pushing in terms of the political angle to have more women in there? Today, having a woman on a ticket has opened door for Bridget, for the PPP. She's not even a presidential candidate,
Yes.
which is even a good call.
Yes.
We understand, which is now possible. Today, when Bridget was nominated in 2016, nobody spoke about Bridget. Nobody did, because it wasn't on a major political party. Today, because even a vice nominee on a major political party has been nominated, the one that has been nominated for presidency has even been highlighted. So now people will say, yes, it is possible. That is why the importance of visualization and the importance of purposeful roping in of women. You see, you cannot amplify women without making that significant stride. Today we are here and we are talking about that there are few women in parliament, there are few women in the politics of our country, but we've not even passed the affirmative action bill. Ask yourself, are we really pro-women? The affirmative action bill has been sitting in parliament for close to a decade. Nothing has been done. And you ask yourself, we really think we are pro-women? When in our music scene, when the Ministry of Tourism and Co are doing all that, the Ministry of Gender, how do they play women at the center? How do they rope in women? How do they rope in young adults to see women as capable of leading? So for the young ones to be able to, now the harm is almost done, but for the young ones, visualization is important. Secondly, passing of the affirmative action bill. Thirdly, having a pro-women agenda, doing either parliamentary elections, even at the political party level, even before they nominate their various parliamentary candidates. How are women being roped in there from the district assembly, from the municipal assemblies? How are women being roped in there? So my group, for instance, Economic Fighters League, has always been pushing for proportional representation. Proportional representation. If women are being made up of 51% of the population, it's just right to have a large chunk of women in parliament representing that populace. It makes sense. But how do we do that? If we are not ready to have the conversation about amendments of the constitution and all, How can we do that? We can do that by purposefully and intentionally roping a woman through appointments, through giving them tax, through giving how many in the boardrooms, boardrooms, how many women do we find there? The appointments, the CEOs of the various boards that are done by the president, the district assembly, the DCs that are appointed, the municipal assembly directors that are appointed, how many are women? See, if you do not start from there, if you do not start somewhere, we cannot be asking for too much, because the time is that we've played a significant role. Women are tired of serving drinks and pancakes and meat pies at party functions. They are tired of doing the sweeping and cleaning and dusting of chairs. They need a seat at the table. They need to be in the boardroom, because it is only when they have a seat at the table that pro-women issues are discussed. Pro-women issues are pushed forward to its logical conclusion. So yes, it's possible. We need a deliberate effort. We need to do that. They are doing well. Women are gradually taking up space. They are pushing themselves further and further. But we still need a wider opening. We still need a wider backing. And when we do that, then we are sending a right signal. But at least, if for anything at all, our parliamentarians should try and pass that affirmative action bill to show that indeed they have women at heart and they want to see more women in the political, economic, and social sectors of this nation.
Thank you so much, Regina. Yes.
If you allow me, I wanted to just say a couple of things of what Regina just said about the visualization.
Please go ahead.
Yes, so about the visualization, excellent. But you see, most African countries are women in the rural areas. How are you going to empower them to also get to where the people in the cities have gotten to? So for me, I'm thinking the churches and the mosque should try to play out these things in churches and mosques for the women in the rural areas to also empower themselves. Not everybody can watch something on TV and everything. So the churches and the mosques should please organize plays and for women in the rural areas to also get to know what is going on. And then when it comes to the pro-women, like you said, in Ghana we have Professor Jane and then Madam Bridget. Are we pro-women? We are. Most women that I know are supporting Prof. Is it because she's on a bigger platform or because she's a woman? Because we have somebody who is a presidential candidate, and then we have somebody who is a vice presidential candidate, but we are focusing on Prof. So are we really pro-woman? Are we supporting her because of the political party, or are we supporting her because she's a woman? Why can't we show the same support to Bridget? Or we think it's not possible, or we think she's not qualified or something. So as women, we sometimes we say things that we don't even do. Like we said, okay, Obama, black, we can associate ourselves because we are black. Excellent. We are women, so we should support both. It shouldn't be just Prof. They are both equally qualified. But we are just supporting a particular political party, in my opinion, when it comes to the current Ghana politics. So we should throw our weight around all of the women. Anybody that you think you can support, just push the person, not because the person is affiliated to a particular political party. So this is what I wanted to add.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. So it looks like now we have looked at how to cure the challenges that associated with the political development. I want us to go back and look at the economic development. Let's look at how can we curb the challenges that comes with it. So personally, let me just chip in. Personally, I'm very passionate about TVET. That's technical vocational education training. I was hello. Sorry. Can you hear me? Right. Okay. So I'm really passionate about TVET and would want to know what your take is would you agree with me that if we focus on skills development for our women, it's an underlining way of curbing our economic challenges? Because you would agree with me that most women are equipped with God-given skills, which these skills can empower their economic development. Do you, or would you agree with me that if we focus on skills development, we can actually help the women race development?
Uh, okay. So, Adiaka, I think for TVET, TVET is good. TVET helps both genders, both male and female. Yes, we have most women in TVET, from hairdressing to basket weaving to kente to just name it. They've been doing a lot of work in that area. So if we want to improve skills development as a means of curbing the economic challenges, I think it's fair enough. But my problem is with TVET is that it boxes most women. The fact that somebody might be at home and not have access to, let's say, education doesn't mean that the person would excel at basket weaving, or doesn't mean that the person will excel at hairdressing or bead making. And that is the mistake most of us make with TVET. We've tried to box people into that as a means to an end, that, oh, do this, you'll be able to earn this in future to cater for yourself and branch into whatever you want to do. But then everybody has passions, everybody has aspirations. And that is the question nobody asks. At a glance, if a woman is at home, it's two things or three things: or going to teaching, going to nursing, or going to entrepreneurship. Normally, on the face value, these are the three boxes we give to women who are not able to progress academically or educationally, or do not have access. So I think we have to get to the point where we understand the aspiration of women. Then we can put them in that bracket. Yes, TVET is awesome because TVET gives you a means to generate income for yourself, which nobody can take away from you. But then, when given the opportunity, when presented with the opportunity, let us ask for their aspirations. There are women today who will tell you that, look, they might not have done a lot of work on their on phones or IT, but they want to get into coding. It might be expensive enrolling them there, but the moment the passion is there. You said something which is very good, that God has given women some skills to be able to do a lot of these TVET activities. But then what is the actual aspirations behind those skills? People out there can do it, but that doesn't mean they enjoy it. See, until we're able to link people's aspirations to their economic viability, nothing will prolong. Let's look at all these social interventions from the President Kufuor's era down to President Mills, to President Mahama, President Anado. We've had the Maslocks, we have the LEAD, we have the Youth in Development, what has been the success stories? After, can we today pinpoint to the person who was under the maybe in the 2004 Youth in Development program today, like 10 years down the line? Do we have their success stories? Are they there? Can we pinpoint them? Where are they? You see, so that until we're able to harness the aspiration as part of it, it will just be for a minimal time, and then they are nowhere, they are lost. So I feel that yes, we can help young people, especially young women, develop their skills, but it should be linked to their aspiration, to what they really want to do, not what is available. Everybody can do something that's available in order to be able to fend for themselves. But economic viability has to be linked with aspiration. So that when you sleep, you know that I am still passionate about what I am doing. So that when I wake up, I'll still go to it. When I feel, I'll rise up and go to it. When I do not make it, when I'm hungry, I know that this thing is going to breed the results for me, the income for me. So then I'll do all my possible best to realign and then get up and then make it. So yes, skills is important. TVET is important in our economic sectors, and help in helping women overcome all these challenges. But how does it link to their aspiration? So we have to have that conversation. What are your aspirations? What do you wish to do? And the thing is, you cannot box aspirations. Yes, people can take it after some period of time, they drop it and take other ones by virtue of the information they've been exposed to. But we need to have that conversation on aspirations. When that aspiration has been tackled, when the person understands and is pursuing something in light of that aspiration, give it 10 years, 15 years, you realize that the person is sticking by it. The person is still standing by it. Government and then development agencies will not give money to these people 5 years down the line. They'll say, oh, those are no excuses, but those are the excuses they'll give you. At least from where I work, you realize that these women, you give them all the support, but it is not what they really want to do. But they felt that because they're not doing anything, at least it's better to do this. So I feel that yes, let us give them the opportunities, but let us understand their aspiration. What do they want to do? 10, 15 years, 20 years down the line, will they still be sticking by what they say they want to do? That's how we can keep the economic challenge. That's how we make it viable. That's what will make it able to transcend not just one generation, but 2 or 3 generations down the line. Thank you, Adiata.
Thank you to Regina. Yeah, can you please also give us your thoughts, looking at how we can improve the economic development of women? And I was asking if you would agree with me that skills training will be one of the underlying way to look at our economic development as women. So if you can touch on that and give me your other views as well.
Thank you. So, like you rightly said, women are naturally skilled. So naturally, we can do so many things like the vocational and technical things. But for me, I think, like Regina said, we should ask women what their dreams and aspirations are. I remember back home in Ghana, every brilliant child, like when you are top 3 or top 5 in the class, you are asked to go and do the sciences. And then those who are at the bottom are asked to go and do the arts. Yeah, so automatically your teachers select all these things for you. We are not allowed to choose what we want to do. So for me, skills training and everything, excellent, but people should be asked what they really want to do. Not because I got mathematics 1 or something, so I should go into the sciences. The technical skills and vocational skills development and everything, excellent, but we should be given the chances to go into the engineering, to go into law, to go into any of those things. These technical skills, for us now, those of us who have done other things apart from the vocational technical, we can still come back and learn this as an additional skill. But we should be given the chance to do whatever that we want to do. Don't box us into you are good in math, so you are going to do science, this is going to do arts, this is going to do vocational skills and blah, blah, blah. And then when it comes to the vocational and technical skills, we look down on them. So even if the person has the aspiration and the dreams to go into those fields, the person is thinking that people will think because she or he is dull, that's why he or she is going into that field. So if we can make it more attractive. It's not like everybody who goes into those technical and vocational skills is dumb or doesn't know what they are doing. Sometimes it's just passion. Somebody wants to just bake. Somebody wants to do decoration. It's not something that we should look down on. So I think if we are able to bring it up for people to know that you can go to the uni and do all those things, it's okay. That is what the person wants to do, and not look down on them. I think that one will also be great. But basically, we shouldn't be boxed. We should be given the opportunity to choose whether I want to go into law, engineering, IT, technical, vocational skills. And then please don't look down on vocational and technical skills. Everybody is different. And then it comes back to self-awareness. Get to know who you are, what you want to do, what you cannot do, your weaknesses, your strengths. Go for it. Don't listen to or look at what everybody is doing. What can you do? Because I think you can be truthful to yourself more than anybody. You know yourself better than anybody does. So self-awareness, try to get to know yourself, go for what you want. And then if somebody goes for what they want and it's different from what we want, please, we shouldn't look down on whatever any other person is also doing. So that would be my take on it.
Okay, that's great, Regina. That's great. Yeah, thanks. Wow. So yeah, I think what you're saying is right. We need, and I feel with the TVET and skills training, one of the challenges there is how people perceive it. Like, yeah, we need to also look at making sure that when people go through TVET, they don't, the brain drain is what we need to change. You understand? We need to make them know that it is a skill. It is a, it's a self-employment on its own. If because it looks like Ghana, most attention or most people feel that going to do the sciences, like Jan mentioned, doing the sciences, doing law, and being a doctor, those are the only things that really make you who you are. But you know, if we are able to give attention to people who are vocationally skilled and make them understand that you can actually still do vocational and technical education and still be a very big person in the society. It doesn't necessarily mean that because of that you cannot go beyond a certain beyond a certain level in life. Those are some of the things that make most of them feel like, okay, if I want to do vocation, it's I can't really progress much. So that's what I think. I think if we can actually one way or the other look at how we can make it seem better if you want to do vocation. So the last of it, I would like us to just look at the social aspect of women's development. If we can just touch that 5 minutes each, that'll be fine. We've looked at economic and looked at political. Just look at the social level. Yeah, you can start with that. Yeah, yes, you can start with the social aspect of women's development. Then we can have Regina look at it too.
Yeah. So for me, it's the social development. I think it comes down to our path to self-sufficiency with the help of the society. I think when it comes to Europe, they've made the social system so relaxed that you don't have lots of pressure. Like in Ghana now, I hear 3 months maternity leave when you give birth, and then now they are taking it to 4. In Germany, it's 1 year, and then 1 year you can even extend it. So this is the pressure. So a woman is thinking, how do I even stay home and have a child and then stay home for 3 months? If I stay home more than 3 months, how am I going to take care of myself? So I think for the social growth, the government or should try to make it much more better with for instance, housing, health. These are the basic things that when it comes to Europe and then maybe some other places in the world, they've developed. When it comes to Ghana or most countries in Africa, we are still lacking this basic thing, healthcare, education, those little things. And these are the things that we are struggling. So we don't grow socially. When somebody loses their job, is the government going to give any social interventions? In Europe, when you lose a job, whether you have an accident at job places or something, that's something that you can rely on. When it comes back to home, Ghana or in Africa, do we have those things? Social interventions, job loss. In this COVID, for instance, people are struggling. And then you realize that Africa, we've not had so many cases. When it comes to social interventions, there's so many things lacking. So social interventions, government policy should help us. There should be social interventions. And then even if the government cannot do everything, when it comes to small communities and everything, churches should be able to step in. Mosques should be able to step in. Small groups that we join should be able to step in and help us when we go through this social growth to be sufficient. So for me, I think basically it still links to governmental social interventions affordable houses, clean water, for instance. In Ghana, we are still struggling with water, clean water, electricity. All these things should be put in place properly so that our social life, our social growth would go forward. So yes, social interventions is what we need as a people and as a country. Yes.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Regina, what's your take, please?
Okay, thank you, Adiata. And I think I'll look at it from 2 points. One from what Ia mentioned, that the social intervention, and then secondly, the social practices. I think for us, one thing I can say confidently is that the people who have advanced women's welfare has always been women's groups. See, history is replete with women's groups that have taken it upon themselves to be able to help women in all social circles, from right down from fight for independence. The Makula women played a significant role. They spearheaded mobilization. They spearheaded welfare contributions in order to achieve a certain goal. What was the goal? Getting the former President Dr. Kwame Nkrumah out of jail, and then helping him run his campaign and being instrumental in the CPP. That was that. And then you even come to, even today, the modern Makula women come to 1992 through to 2000, the 1981, that's the 31st December Women's Movement. What role have they played? The significant role they've played. Today, there are so many social groups, there are so many women groups making strides. Most women get help, get significant help from societies, from those social groups. And so those social groups have come to stay. How do we regularize them? Because the help that most women need, they are getting it from them. Today, even such groups are even on social media. You have groups that discuss all kinds of either relationship issues, economic issues, general life problems, and then they come together, contribute, and still help. Today, GoFundMe and all these kind of Momo contribution collections are instrumental. And anytime you go deep down, you realize that it's mostly women that are spearheading this social intervention. So as a people, I think we are doing our best. We are doing our best to see ourselves through. Recently, there has been an increase in these kidney issues, cancer treatment, and all those. How many people in Ghana have been able to afford it? No. It all has to come from society, social mobilization, which women are doing very well. Mobilize funds to be able to solve an issue. So the question then comes to us: if we've seen this, how are we doing it to affect other sectors of our society or of our economy? We have women playing that same role in churches. We've seen their managerial skills. We've seen their competence there. Why is it that the Emeko leader in a church cannot be the financial secretary for the main church? Ask yourself that question. The Emeko leader, they are the ones who even rake in more church harvest money for the church. They are the ones whose group are able to put things in order to make the church attractive for people to even come to contribute, but yet they cannot be the financial secretaries of these churches or even the welfare president of these churches. So socially, our community in and of itself is shaping itself and doing a lot more for women. Then it comes to the social interventions Yas spoke about, what the government is also doing. See, one thing the government always tell you is that we've opened up the opportunity, we've done everything. There are no laws barring you. There's nothing stopping you. We've made sure that companies employ you and all. But then you go to a company and then do your interview, you are asked, what are your plans for family expansion? Because the company is looking at how the 3-month maternity leave they're going to take is going to impact them. What is government doing about that? They're going to make the maternity leave, let's say 4 months. 4 months. How should a private employer feel about it? That having someone come in maybe works for some 5 months and it takes 4 months off to go and give birth. What benefit are you giving? It's not that the employer will feel motivated to employ women. These are the realities on the ground. You go to hospitals and women are still sleeping on the floor. They do not have a lot of access. It's even now that most companies are paying the health bills of their employees. But then what government subsidy are they earning? Can't government put in a social intervention like a company that employs a lot of women get a tax break for 1 or 2 years? These are pro-women choice activities. These are pro-women laws that will motivate women to be captured into society. For instance, the president has the opportunity to invite religious leaders all over. Why can't we say that, okay, religious leaders with 30% or even 50% women leadership, we are having a lunch date with the president as part of maybe affirmative action, a celebration. You see, we can do so much with political power without even realizing it. Even come to our families, the churches, a pastor. Why can't a pastor say, okay, we've always been preaching the submission, the man is the head of home and stuff. This month, how many of you are going to allow your wife to spearhead activities, blah, blah, blah? When you come to the discussion, how are you applauding men who are having collaborative efforts with their wives at home? You see, it starts from somewhere. Children see what their parents do. Parents see what their church leaders do. Church leaders see what their leaders do. So it's just a gradual process. We can do so much. Let's start from somewhere. Let's use the opportunity of women even being, look, I can tell you on authority that West African women are very hardworking. They are very supportive. They are very driven, and something that we can capitalize on for the good of the entire nation. We can really do something about it. Let's put in incentives to companies, to firms, to anybody in any sector. Employ 30% women or employ 40% women. You get this particular tax break. When this company is getting that tax break, other companies will see it and will also want that. So you solve two issues. You solve the unemployment. You are also solving the issue of lesser women representation. Our own government. Let's see the district assembly elections. What will the regional minister do? Is there an award scheme that, okay, the district assembly with more women representation will be given some amount of money to help undertake a certain activity in their area? You see, so all these things have to be done, and it all comes back to the main point of visualization. When visualization is there, imagination takes, creativity takes, and problems get solved. So socially, we are all playing a role, but we can still do better by capitalizing on what's already there. The opportunity is there. Women are competent and skilled to do the job. Give incentives to those at the helm of affairs, and trust you me, we will not have these discussions going forward. Adiata.
Hello.
Hello.
That was a very lovely submission, Regina. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's. I think we've been able to look at development of women in social, economic, and political. I think we've actually spoken at length, and I think we've all given our very best. Regina has spoken a lot. Yeah, has spoken really a lot as well. I would just like to ask, how do you see the development of women in Ghana in the next 5 years? What does the picture look like for you? What do you think? Regina, you can take that up, then yeah, I would continue.
Oh, okay. All right. Sure. So I think in the next 5 years, we'll move the discussion from how many women that are being enrolled in their various sectors to how well they are doing, because I believe that the opportunities are coming, the ceilings are being broken one day at a time. In the next 5 years, it will be normal to have a female finance minister, a female minister of trade. It will be normal to have about 70% of the ministers be women because they are competent enough to be. In the next 5 years, I wish to see us not be shocked to see an all-women panel, an all-women boardroom, an all-women, even the top four, presidency, vice president, speaker of parliament, Chief Justice, all the top four can even be women. It shouldn't come to us as a shock. We should normalize having women in sensitive areas. We should normalize having all women panels. We should normalize having our daughters telling us they are dreaming of doing extraordinary things other than settling down, starting families, and having children. So yes, in the next 5 years, I wish to see more women taking up the mantle, developing tougher skin, knowing that nobody can do or undo you. Everything lies within you. You are competent, you are strong, you are brave, and you are creative enough to solve the challenges of this nation. So yes, I see women actively taking up that mantle in the next 5 years. And hopefully Nera will be here to celebrate with them.
Okay, yeah, let's hear you.
The next 5 years for Ghana. For me, I think if we continue to create awareness like how we are doing, I think in the next 5 years, we will have more people in parliament, we will have more people working in the formal sectors, and even more people building their own company in the informal sectors. I'm skeptical because I don't really know lots of things and that is going on back home in Ghana. But I think looking from outside, I think when more awareness is created, we will get there. I know that some women are also thinking, or some men who are thinking, you want to compete with us, you want to get to where we are, blah, blah, blah. No, we are not saying that. All that we are saying is give us the opportunity, give us the same level for us to also thrive, for us to also grow. So I think the next 5 years, when we are given all these opportunities, I think we will get there. Yeah.
All right, yeah, thank you so much, and thank you, Regina. I believe we've had a very extensive discussion, and we've touched a lot. And I believe all the people that are watching us, that are streaming and listening to us, have picked up a lot of insight. And then, a lot of insight on what the challenges have been and what the possible solutions could be. And hopefully, we are hoping that as women, we can all together champion a positive development with time to come. So thank you all so much for your time. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your submissions. And I hope we get another chance to talk again on this women topic. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Regina. And Bernard, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. And we look forward to another opportunity to discuss more, to impact more on the society. So Bernard, over to you.
Thank you very much for such an insightful conversation we've had so far. I think you've made so many salient points. And one of the points I just want to stress on is the power of visualization, as pointed out by Regina. Around 1985, one of the South American countries, these countries, especially the South Americans, they have issues with religion, and the majority of them belong to a certain sect that prohibits the use of contraceptives. So you see a poor family giving birth to 8, 9, 10 people, and they don't even have the money to take care of the kids. So there was this telenovela around 1985. And in that telenovela, a certain strong woman was portrayed as somebody who had the choice to make her own decision as to the use of contraceptives. She was living a very good life. She just had one kid. And after 2 years, you see that a lot of families were shifting to the use of contraceptive without even a campaign on contraceptive usage. And these are people who are supposed to be very religious, but as they saw in the movie that the lady had just a minimum number of kids, and she was able to take care of that number of kids and was living a very good life, they were attracted to also adopt that kind of strategy, and their lives perhaps changed, if not for the best, but at least for the better. But one issue that I just want to point out is that there is a little bit contentious for me is the acquisition of land. FAO, that's the Food and Agric Organization 2015 report, states that you have less than 17% of women owning, managing, and controlling farmlands globally, not just Africa, globally, less than 17%. So if you come to Ghana, you have majority of your population in agric being women. And globally, less than 17% are controlling the farmlands. So you can just imagine the kind of income distribution, because if you own the lands, you own the resources. If you don't own it, you can't own the resources. So economically, you will be a little bit disadvantaged. My issue is that land is a demand and supply thing. It's not vested in the, say, the states, that you can say, okay, the state should just give women lands so that they farm on the lands and they can own the lands. How will we be able to at least navigate around this? Because if I have a land and I'm selling and you want to use it for farmland, it's your choice. But if you don't have money, how can I sell my land to you? That's the only issue I am having. That's okay. Now we want the women to be very active economically because they are involved in agri, they form the majority. How can we navigate around this scenario? Just 2 seconds so that we can wrap up.
But then most of the lands belong to families, right?
Yes.
So why can't the family give the lands to their women in the family, I mean?
So, okay. So the families should just hand over the land to their women.
At least for a woman to also manage some, not even, or at least give her a portion of the land to manage. If she can buy, because most lands, like you're saying, belong to families, not the government. So if you are a family, you are the head of the family as a man, can't you just give a portion of your land to a woman in the family and say, could you please manage this one and then maybe work on this one and feed your family or something? But they rather give it to the husband, right? So it starts from the family.
So it brings another cultural issue, because in Africa, a lot of heads of families are all men. Yeah. So if you are head of family and you are a man and you are owning the resource, obviously. Yeah, but exactly. One of our followers pointed out a question that I just want to put across Regina. His problem is that we've been talking about social cultural issues since Adam. Yeah. We should make sure that social cultural problems or challenges are being addressed. It's been ages. What is the missing link? Why is it that we've not been able to circumvent that problem till date?
I think the issue with social cultural problem is that one party benefits from it. There's always a privileged party who benefits from the inhibitions that the social culture practices promote. Let's give the typical example of land. The typical example of land, if let's say a family, it's just good, or it's just wise if you have maybe 3 generations or 3 siblings, 2 girls, 1 boy, you share the land for everybody equally. But no, they'll give all the land to the male and leave the women to go and farm the land of their male brother. You understand? So you realize that the social cultural things we are talking about is because there's somebody that benefits from the system. That is why it's not going away. And today, reason why people are now shying away from the feminist conversation is because the feminist conversation actually tackles the root cause, which is the patriarchy. We are telling you that, look, it is not fair for you to have land and tell me that I'm not capable of managing that land because I can't make breast. But my brother or my cousin, no matter how incompetent he is, so long as he has a chest and a male genital organ, he can manage it. It is as simple as that. You see, so we make the argument that the reason why you need allies, you need male allies in this feminist conversation is that they are the ones at the helm of decision making. We can do all that. We can make the noise. We can push for the reforms. But then until the person at the helm of decision making makes that choice, then we are not going anywhere. If family members or family leaders or clans come to the realization that, look, we are in a progressive world, anybody can manage resources, irrespective of how it's done. Let's share it equally. and then everybody goes away. There was a current landmark Supreme Court case where the Supreme Court actually held that you do not need to be the male son to be able to inherit your father in some of the communities in Ghana. So long as you are a child, irrespective of gender and irrespective of the family traditions that are in place, you can own assets. So it had to take an informed decision from the court to be able to save that woman's family. How many people will have access to lawyers and to litigate all the way to the Supreme Court? They can't. So the social cultural issues you are talking about, now we need to have open discussions. Formerly, people were shying away. If you're a woman and you just question the status quo, you are branded a witch. Even today, 21st century discussions, women talk about these social cultural practices, and we have insults like she's a lesbian, she's a witch, she doesn't want the welfare of family and stuff. She's an attack on the family because nobody wants to have the difficult conversation. But these are conversations that need to be had. The sociocultural practices are not going away because there's somebody clearly benefiting from it. And it's funny, the patriarchy works very cunningly. You benefit at one side, but then lose at the other side. You benefit from getting all the access to the resources, the land and everything, but lose at the side that you do not get somebody to be able to partner you in the responsibility because you are taking everything onto your shoulder. So we are praying that modern families, modern male will come to the realization that, look, it is better for all hands to be on deck. It is better to have two heads navigating a ship than to have just one person going on a frolic of their own. It's better to have partnership than to try to do it on your own. And when that realization comes, I'm sure we're going to have more progressive. Today, we have fathers who do not mind having 5 daughters, 6 daughters without male son. We have daughters who are doing extremely well for their fathers who do not have sons. That is where the conversation is changing. People are not too excited or otherwise if they have no children today because they've seen female children doing extraordinarily well. So yes, it will take time, but we need a partnership between both genders because you can benefit at one side, but then lose at the other side too. Yeah.
Thank you very much. On that sermonic notes, we just have to bring whatever thing we have been discussing to an end. And I would just want to end by saying that, yes, we need a modern family, a modern male, a modern female, and it will start from us. If there is anything you see that you don't like, you can change it. If you see that there is a sociocultural issue, you should change it from your home, discuss it with your husband, make sure that the kind of male son you are raising is open-minded, positive, progressive, so that he will also accommodate the issues of the sister. So that when he grows, he becomes a super modern male. Yeah. And we'll have a brighter society going forward. It's been an interesting discussion, and thank you so much for making the night very, very, very joyous for our followers and our viewers. Thank you, yeah, my boss. Thank you, Regina, my lawyer. And thank you, Adiata, my business partner. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you and thank
all
you.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you all. Okay, have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.